Most of us will never see North Korea's internet. That's because, in truth, it barely exists. A few thousand people out of a nation of 25 million have access to it. And even then, what they see is not what we see. Their version of the internet is a carefully constructed illusion, a digital prison with painted walls. But in 2016, one young man, alone, in a dimly lit room thousands of miles away, found a crack in the walls of that prison. He slipped through, and for a brief, extraordinary moment, the curtain that shields the world's most secretive country was pulled back. This is the story of the hacker who broke into North Korea's internet and paid a price no one could have imagined. At the heart of this story is a teenager named Andrew. He wasn't a spy. He wasn't some government-backed genius with endless resources. He was just a kid. The kind of kid who felt most alive not at parties, not on sports fields, but in the glow of a computer screen at 3 in the morning. He grew up with a restless curiosity. How do things work? Where do the rules bend? What happens when you push against them? For most of us, that curiosity might lead us into a rabbit hole of Wikipedia articles or hours lost on YouTube. For Andrew, it led somewhere darker, somewhere far more dangerous. The internet in North Korea is so small, so fragile, that in 2016, experts compared it to a single coffee shop Wi-Fi network. Just 4 domains controlled everything. The websites, state propaganda pages, clunky portals for universities, government-run message boards were laughably outdated. To most of the world, it was invisible, untouchable. But to Andrew, it was an invitation. He discovered a simple flaw in the way North Korea's servers communicated with the rest of the world. A weakness so obvious that seasoned cybersecurity experts later admitted they were shocked it had never been fixed. Through that crack, Andrew could see everything. For the first time, an outsider was peering into the raw, unfiltered infrastructure of the world's most secretive dictatorship. Imagine what he saw. Government ministers sending unencrypted emails full of secrets they assumed no one would ever read. Internal websites hosting propaganda drafts before they were published. Log files that revealed which elites had access to foreign news and which ones didn't. Even browsing habits of the privileged few, tiny fragments of their hidden world. It was like staring into the diary of a regime that had never imagined anyone would read its words. But Andrew didn't just stumble into North Korea's network, he explored it, and he couldn't resist leaving footprints. At first, he told no one. He simply collected what he found. Screenshots, code, the mundane and the extraordinary mixed together. Then, late at night, he began sharing pieces with a small group of online friends. A digital whisper, like kids daring each other to peek behind the forbidden door. Some of them laughed, some warned him, and some wanted in. This is where the story takes a darker turn. Because secrets like these are not just curiosities, they're power, and power attracts predators. Word of Andrew's discovery spread quietly across online forums where hackers, journalists, and intelligence agents brushed shoulders without ever knowing who's who. Soon, people he didn't recognize were reaching out. Some promised money, others threatened him. The information he had was priceless and radioactive. It's unclear who moved first. Some say Western intelligence agencies approached him, wanting to use his access as a backdoor into Pyongyang. Others believe criminal groups tried to weaponize his discovery. What we do know is this: within weeks of his breakthrough, Andrew disappeared. Officially, there are no records of his arrest, no court case, no newspaper articles. He simply vanished. Some say he was recruited quietly, forced into the shadows of intelligence work where his skills could be contained and controlled. Others whisper a darker theory, that North Korean agents somehow found him, and that they made sure he could never speak again. But here's the most haunting part of the story. In the months after Andrew went silent, a strange thing happened. North Korea's entire internet went offline, not once, but multiple times. Entire outages, stretching across hours, even days. To this day, no one knows exactly why. Some experts insist it was foreign governments flexing their muscles. Others suggest cybercriminals. But those who knew Andrew, the few who had seen his screenshots, his logs, believe he had something to do with it, that he left a final mark before disappearing forever. And so we are left with a ghost story of the digital age, a teenager who, armed with nothing but a laptop and endless curiosity, cracked open one of the world's most impenetrable fortresses. For a fleeting moment, he glimpsed the truth inside a kingdom built on lies. And then, just as suddenly, he was gone. We will probably never know what really happened to him, whether he was silenced, recruited, or simply chose to vanish. But what remains is the reminder of how fragile power really is. That even the might of a dictatorship, even the myth of invulnerability, can be pierced, not by an army, not by a government, but by a restless kid, alone in the dark, staring at a glowing screen. And maybe that is what frightens those in power the most, not the weapons, not the armies, but the idea that somewhere out there, a single individual with nothing but a question and a keyboard could change everything.